Hi, this is Lisa with Modest Menagerie. Today we're going to take a look at one of my favorite species of python, the Woma Python. They are beautiful and interactive constrictors who live in the arid scrublands of Australia. I fell in love with them for their uniquely stunning appearance, their manageable size, and their interactive personalities. I have two Woma Pythons, but for the majority of this video I will be joined by Cheaty, my adult male. Woma Pythons are small and slender snakes, at least in the realm of pythons, which tend to be very heavy-bodied. They have orange, tan, and brown coloration and dramatic stripes down their body. They are usually around 5 or 6 feet in length as adults, but can get up to 8 to 9 feet in southern parts of Australia. They usually have a bright yellow underbelly and are completely non-venomous. Their heads are uniquely slender in appearance, as they use their head to burrow, and they do not have the heat-sensing pits that most pythons do. It's suspected, though, that they do have a heat-sensing organ at the front of their mouths or lips. They have dark brown to black markings over their small black eyes, which look like eyebrows, at least in my opinion. The species is Aspidites ramsayi, named after zoologist Edward Ramsay, and Aspidites meaning shield bearer in reference to the scales on the top of his head. They are a nocturnal fossorial snake, meaning they are both active at night and adapted for burrowing. They have weak vision and little to no heat-sensing abilities. They don't often need these things, as they are burrowing snakes and predators of other cold-blooded reptiles, including other snakes. They are even immune to most snake venom. They spend their days underground and tucked into comfortable hides. At night, they hunt in multiple ways. They will enter burrows and dens and crush small animals against the walls when the quarters are too tight to constrict. On the surface, they act more like ambush predators, wiggling the tip of their tails to look like a worm until an unfortunate animal comes into striking distance. When I first discovered this species, I was fascinated and quickly fell in love. After some research, I found out they are quite endangered in most of their native range. Land clearing for agriculture destroys the habitats of their prey, and therefore them. They have become a favorite food of foxes and mulga snakes as well. However, Woma pythons do incredibly well in captivity and can live up to 30 years. Being an Australian snake, they are banned as exports. That results in the wonderful fact that there are no wild-caught Woma pythons in the exotic animal trade, except for those with permits in Australia. Keeping and breeding Woma pythons in the exotic animal trade only helps to increase the worldwide population of this beautiful species. I got my Cheaty almost a year ago, and Eleanor is my newest addition. Cheaty is a calm puppy dog snake. When I first bought him, he was a little bit food aggressive, so I opted to handle him often and feed him in a separate enclosure. Now, given a minute to acclimate to being held, handling this guy is just joy. Eleanor is a different story. She's a beautiful lighter gold 3.5-year-old Woma, and she's wild. She is extremely food aggressive. I got bit the first time I held her, and I had to spend 15 minutes removing her from my hand. After that, I had to buy my first snake hook. I'm working with her, but with leather gloves and a hook. Moving her to a separate feeding enclosure is helping, but she does require my full attention to handle her without creating a bad experience for her and me. If you are interested in getting a Woma Python as a pet, I would highly recommend handling the snake before purchase. If you're getting one from a breeder-bred male, I would inquire about the temperament, as it will make all the difference in your experience with these animals. It's rare to find a Woma Python that will ever bite you from fear, as they are incredibly inquisitive snakes, but they might bite you in a food kind of way. Handling early and often results in a very friendly animal. So let's go over care requirements. You'll want a decently large enclosure, somewhere between 40 and 60 gallons. Womas are a burrowing snake, but have often been observed hunting in treetops as well. Providing a deep substrate and branches to climb on will be greatly appreciated. They can thrive in smaller enclosures or breeder tubs, but you'll want to go out of your way to handle them often. For substrate, they do great with a naturalistic bioactive enclosure, as well as simple cocoa coir. Ideally, they like high humidity of 50% or more, so aspen isn't ideal as it molds at that humidity. A deep bed of cocoa coir or a mix of organic soil and sand make great alternatives. They need the standard heat gradient of just about every snake, with one side of the enclosure heated to about 90 degrees Fahrenheit and the other is 75 to 80. Being a fossorial snake, they burrow to reach cooler temperatures, so they can get confused by under-tank heating. Heat sources from the top or side are more ideal. As always, use a thermostat on your heat sources so you can't burn your snake ever. You should provide a water bowl large enough for your snake to soak in, as well as 1 or more hides, the more the better. They do not require a light, but they do look absolutely stunning under one. Feeding is almost always simple with these guys, as they will happily take frozen thawed rats for their entire lives. Feed them with tongs, usually in a separate enclosure. That way they don't think it's dinner time every time you reach in the enclosure. Also, keep in mind that if you're like me and have other Australian animals in your home, you'll want to be very thorough in washing off scents between animal interactions. I own spotted pythons, children's pythons, a bearded dragon, parakeets, and a cockatiel, all of which are native prey for the Woma. All told, I'm captivated by these beautiful animals. I firmly believe that they possess personalities perfect for the average pet, and if given a chance will rapidly gain popularity in the pet trade. I am also planning on breeding these two, and they will actually be introduced to each other this week. They breed in November, or May in the southern hemisphere, and Eleanor will hopefully lay eggs 3 to 5 months later. Then we have a 2.5-month wait for baby Woma Pythons. I hope you find the Woma Python as wonderful as I do, and I'll see you next time. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I kind of pointed with his head. But you're so good. He is so good.
He is a good boy.
Books smell the best.